Because of how difficult it is to manage paper wallets securely, because of how difficult it is to create paper wallets securely, paper wallets are not as good as hardware wallets for the vast majority of users. Someone who's very technically sophisticated and has a very good understanding of the security implications and Bitcoin technology can create a very secure paper wallet. In fact, a paper wallet can be more secure than a hardware wallet if generated correctly. The problem is that the vast majority of users who are likely to use that technology do not understand the technology well enough.
I wasted a ton of money and time trying to make paper wallets work. But the good news is, if you watch this video and learn from what I'm about to tell you, you won't have to waste a ton of money and time in dealing with fucking paper wallets. My story with paper wallets starts back in the summer of 2017 when me and a friend Matt got together and decided we wanted to do a cryptocurrency startup. So we brainstormed some and thought about the idea of making a better wallet, because back then you either had Electrum, which reliable, didn't look the greatest, wasn't the easiest to use, or you use a centralized exchange, which is obviously not secure, right? But hardware wallets did exist back then. They were just really expensive. And that time, we thought, who's going to pay $200 for a hardware wallet? You can get pretty good security using other methods. And the other methods that we came up with was improving upon paper wallets, making them easier to use. And since they're so cheap, that would be a great business, a great way for people to get into cryptocurrencies and make them more accessible in general. And also, hopefully, make us some money too, right? Which is the goal of most startups. So we settled upon paper wallets and we hit the road running. When me and Matt first started off with this idea of paper wallets being used and being improved upon as a core business model, I was 100% sure that paper wallets were the correct solution and that we could improve paper wallets and make them super duper secure, and you didn't need hardware wallets or things like Electrum. You want to be super secure. So I was really confident about this, right? So let's say this is a graph. Boom. So I'm here. I have little experience. I know how to code, and Matt put me in charge of the bulk of the coding. So I know how to code. I know how to build websites and web apps, things like that. And I am super confident, right? But my cryptocurrency experience this time wasn't that far along. I was simply used to using cryptocurrencies, spending it some, but I had never, done a cryptocurrency dev thing. So my confidence is quite high, but my experience is quite low. So this is where we're at right now. And just remember that, keep that in mind when we're moving through this story. So I am very confident that this will work. So I immediately head to my computer and start coding on making paper wallets more secure and accessible. So after days of coding, I finally created a paper wallet. Here goes the old standard kind, QR codes. You go to a website, print them out from your computer, and load some Bitcoin onto it. Here's mine. Hold your applause. The secret is, they're the same thing. Right when I first did my first iteration of paper wallets, I didn't innovate anything. My whole idea behind this was to get experience. So I built my own website that did the same exact thing as other websites. You would go to the website, print out a PDF with some QR codes on it, load Bitcoin onto it, and that's it. You have a paper wallet. Standard and easy, nothing innovative. And that was my first iteration of trying to make good paper wallets, was getting caught up to the competition. And in getting caught up, to the competition, I found so many issues with paper wallets. But the first major issue was this. When you print out your paper wallet, it comes from a computer and it comes from a printer. If that printer or computer combination or system has a hack or a virus in it, your money can be stolen and you won't even know it happened. It could happen a day later, a week later, or a year later. Your money can be stolen. And it is nearly impossible to secure a printer or a computer and make sure that it has no viruses or hacks that will lose your money. You can't just unplug it from the internet because it could still have a virus on it from when it was plugged into the internet. And you also can't simply plug it back into the internet when you're done because there still can be information on your computer that can be leaked if you do get a virus in the future. And it's practically impossible to ensure that your computer doesn't currently have a virus on it or won't get a virus in the future. So, and that same thing goes for printers. Very insecure, not designed to hold thousands and hundreds of Bitcoins, etc., etc. So, that's why the first issue is single hardware hacks. If the computer or printer has a virus on it, had a virus on it, or will have a virus on it, your money can be stolen from your paper wallet. Same thing goes for the printer. Pretty hard to secure, pretty hard to fix this issue. But if my startup wants to survive, we have to fix this issue and make paper wallets secure. And that will require a bunch of reimagining, rethinking about how paper wallets work and what they are. It will also require me to reassess my confidence and experience after learning this about paper wallets. After building my own paper wallet, although it was simple, I learned a lot about issues that affect paper wallets and why people say they're not that secure. But I still have confidence that they can be made to work. But my confidence has gone down a considerable amount. As my experience increased, I became more critical and more aware of the paper wallet issues and why they're so bad. But at this point in my startup career, we still think we can make this work. We have to make this work for our startup. So we hit the code again and try to make paper wallets secure. Again, for iteration 2. So I hit the computer and start to code and do some real work. I'm trying my best, not slacking off, putting the hours in front of the keyboard. And after many days, I come to what I think is the solution for making paper wallets secure. And that solution is multi-sig crypto. I tried to address the issue of single hardware hacks by, instead of using just one printer/computer, you would use 3. And this beautiful technology of multi-signature would allow you to, in theory, make it more secure. Because instead of using one computer, that if the hacker got that one computer, installed the virus on the printer or the laptop, your money would be gone. We instead use 3 of them. That way a hacker would have to hack 2 out of the 3 if they wanted to steal your money, in theory. So this was a way to get away from one computer/printer being hacked, all your money being gone, to adding a little bit more robustness to the security of paper wallets by requiring 2 out of the 3 computers/printers to be hacked. And in theory, this would make it more secure. But after spending more time working with this and seeing the issues that it faced, I realized that I ignored the one common factor amongst all the machines that could lead to you being hacked. And that is the software. If you recall earlier, we had an issue of the single hardware hack. That means that if you use one computer/printer to make your paper wallet and it got hacked, your money would be stolen. They could hack your laptop or the printer, which is relatively easy. So I sought to fix that by adding in 2 more devices. That way a hacker would have to hack 2 out of the 3 devices instead of just being able to hack 1. And in theory, the way my system works, right, multi-sig crypto, is that you would maybe print this off at home, print this at a friend's house, and print this at like a public library. You would just need access to 3 separate computers, 3 separate printers. And in theory, if they hacked any of the devices, they would still have to hack 2 of them in order to steal your money instead of the one from earlier. And this was a great system, I thought, until I studied more and learned more about how software and cryptocurrency security worked. Because do you notice anything that's the same on all 3 of these devices? We have an Apple product, 2 Android products, we have 2 phones, 1 tablet. Pretty redundant system, pretty hard to hack 2 out of these systems, right? They're running different OSs, different versions, pretty hard to hack them. But if you look at this, you can notice one thing that's similar between all of them. All of these wallets are all running the same software. They all go to the same website. So regardless of the security of your hardware, if your software, which is handles the printing of your wallet, generates the wallet, shows you QR codes, that's the software part, and the hardware part is the devices that they run on. If the software is bad, your money can get stolen, regardless of how strong and secure the hardware is. And I had to consider that when I was addressing the hardware issue from earlier. So I have to go back to the drawing board and fix this, because this is a real issue. There was actually a wallet called Copay that was multi-signature, different hardware that was hacked. And thousands, maybe hundreds, thousands of dollars were stolen from this wallet. All because it used the same software, and software is really, really hard to secure. So using the same software on each of the devices wasn't going to work. Paper wallets had to be redesigned in order to work, unfortunately. So I have to hit the drawing board again. And let's review. We started off with wallets like this, single software wallets, paper wallets. The issue with them was if your computer or laptop got hacked, wouldn't work. So we moved on to multi-sig, right? Different devices, each one had to be hacked. You had to hack 2 of them in order for money to be stolen. Still not good enough, right? So we have to make different hardware and have different software running on each one. So at this point, I've gained a lot of experience, built 2 versions of this paper wallet generator, and my confidence in paper wallets is pretty low. Right? Pretty low. I am right here. I've spent hours upon hours, weeks trying to make paper wallets secure, and I've hit several roadblocks, as we've seen, and I've had to constantly rebuild, redesign things. So if my startup wants to survive, we have to make paper wallets secure, which means we have to have 3 different websites that you go to on 3 separate devices. So I'm get started coding that, and we'll see how it goes. After coding for what feels like years, an epiphany hits me. What am I doing? I had spent months at a computer writing code trying to make paper wallets secure. I had made apps, I had made websites, all because my startup thought that paper wallets could be cheap and secure. And while I had been spending time doing this, hardware wallets had gotten cheaper and better. There's more of them and they're easier to work with. So I had been spending all my time trying to make paper wallets work, patch different issues, fix different issues with them. All because I ignored wise quotes from Andreas and other wise people in the crypto space talking about how paper wallets aren't secure. And I ignored all of this wisdom simply because I was naive and overconfident about paper wallets. See, I was naive about paper wallets. Because when you think about paper wallets, you think they're very simple and secure. I mean, it's just a sheet of paper. How could a sheet of paper be insecure? But the trick is, paper wallets don't actually exist. I mean, paper wallets exist, of course, but paper wallets don't exist alone. In order to make a paper wallet, you have to have a software, you have to have a computer, and you have to have a printer in order to make paper wallets work. And if any of those things have issues with them, they've been hacked or compromised, your money could be put at risk. Earlier in the video, I went over ways that you could try to fix that using things like multi-sig, using things like different computers, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, paper wallets just are not secure. And it's reasonable to think that they were. I mean, I did. At the beginning of this video, I was pretty confident paper wallets were not secure. And most people have the same thing when they first hear about paper wallets. But as you gain more experience, you begin to see the issues with them, and they don't look as appetizing. And this effect is normal, and it is something that people refer to as the Dunning-Kruger effect. The Dunning-Kruger effect is simply a phenomenon where people who are not so experienced in a topic are overconfident in their knowledge of the topic. This Dunning-Kruger effect applies to anything. It could be working on cars, riding bikes. People who, for example, are new to riding a bike might be overconfident in how easy it is to ride a bike. But as you gain more experience, you see that it's quite hard. But eventually, after you gain experience, your confidence continues to go back up after that. But when I first started working on paper wallets, and when most people start working on paper wallets, their confidence is very high. I mean, it's paper, right? How can paper be insecure, you might think? But as you learn more about paper wallets, and as you experiment with them more and more, it becomes overwhelmingly clear that paper wallets do not work and are not secure. And this Dunning effect is common throughout the crypto space. You'll see people claiming paper wallets are secure, paper wallets are simple, using old, outdated information. But hopefully from this video, you won't waste a lot of time dealing with paper wallets, and you can learn from my mistakes with paper wallets and save a lot of money and time. And to wrap up my story about the startup, my startup ended up actually rebranding and turning into Guiding Wallet, which I can make more about in a future video if y'all would like that. Drop some comments below. And that wraps up our video on why paper wallets are not that secure. Hopefully you learned a lot from the video and you won't be spending any time with paper wallets. You'll upgrade to a secure, robust way to store your cryptocurrency. And if you really enjoyed today's video, well, I have a gift for you. We have quizzes based upon today's content where you can win real crypto and learn more about paper wallets. So check the details below for that. And if the quiz is already passed, you can check the right-hand corner for information about the quiz so you can still learn more about paper wallets, the history, why they're so bad, and some cool facts about paper wallets. Once again, thank you so much. Stay safe out there, and I'll catch you at the next one.